All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
All right. So I guess now you understand.
Hey, what's going on, Colts Nation? Lawrence Owen here, Colts Law. I'm excited. Dude, I'm ready to sit here and talk Indianapolis Colts football and go over the second half of the season. If you missed my breakdown of the first half of the NFL season for the Indianapolis Colts, please check out Colts Law, one of my parts of my channel. You'll notice that I went 7-1. I gave the one loss to the Ravens only because, not that they can't beat the Ravens. I think they're actually well matched up against them. But being of all the teams that they faced in the first half of the season, I think the Ravens is the toughest matchup. And I just don't see them going 8-0 the first half of the season. So I really think that we ought to just, I wanted to calm my pants down a little bit and be like, you know what? They're not going to be 8-0. They're going to be 7-1. The best chance for them to be best game that they'll probably lose is the Ravens, even though I think they have a chance of beating them. I think Indy can hang with any team in the NFL right now. It's unbelievable. I think so many people, even Colts Nation, I think are really selling this team short. I think that this running game is going to be outstanding. I think the defense is going to take massive strides forward just because of the offseason additions that they've gotten, plus the young players being in another year. I'm expecting health to be a lot better than what it was last year. I'm not expecting the majority of our wide receivers to miss the majority of the season. I'm not expecting half the season to be lost by the secondary. I'm not hoping that Kemoko Turay is able to play the entire season, just not the first 5 weeks, right? That's my hopes. That's what I'm dreaming for. That's everything that I am hoping for the Indianapolis Colts this season. A lot of people wonder, well, is there even going to be a season? I think there's going to be a season. I really do. I think the loss of a season would just be too much revenue loss for the NFL. They're already expecting about $3 billion in losses due to loss of fans in the stands, which is an equivalent to about $25 million is what they're expecting of a cap hit for each NFL team. But they're going to split that among 3 years, so it'll be $8.3 million cap hit for each team. It's not really going to affect the Colts that much because they got so much cap room over the next 3 years anyhow, so it don't really matter to them nearly as much as it does some of the other teams like the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Niners, the Cowboys, teams like that. So, if you are watching here on this stream, please share this to your social media, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, doesn't matter what it is. Share it out. That way I could get a little bit more exposure. It's guys and women like you who help me get more people to come to my channel. I can't do it alone. I need your help. So please help me out. I appreciate it very much. So without further ado, let's get into week 10. All right. The Tennessee Titans at Tennessee Titans. This may be this might be the toughest game that the Colts play in their own division. I think the Titans are better than the Texans. I think just because they have a better defense. They're well-rounded. I think Derrick Henry is a solid running back. Now, the loss of Jack Conklin is going to hurt a lot out there on left tackle. There's no question. All right. It's going to be a huge loss for Tennessee. And, of course, they've got a great defense, but they lost Jarrell Casey as well, which, again, good pass rusher, great against the run. That's going to serve the Colts really, really well, okay? In my opinion, people are also underrating Ryan Tannehill. I think he is an incredibly good quarterback. They're like, but he didn't throw hardly at all during the playoffs. But, of course, they didn't need him to, did they? I mean, when you got a hot hand in Derrick Henry, you don't force feed somebody else. You force feed the hot hand. And quite frankly, Ryan Tannehill, no, he's not a Lamar Jackson. He's not Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson. He's a game manager, but he's a darn good game manager. All right, he has one of the highest completion percentages in the NFL, one of the best touchdown to interception ratios in the NFL. He had the highest quarterback rating in the NFL last season. So don't sell him short, especially since he's got A.J. Brown to throw to right now. And they got a couple tight ends that ain't too shabby. That being said, I like this NFL Colts, 2020 NFL Colts, more than I like the 2018 Colts. And that's with Andrew Luck, okay? I like this team more than I like the Colts when they had Andrew Luck. Now, don't get me wrong. I would rather have Andrew Luck than Phillips any day. Any day, I'd rather have him over Phillip Rivers. But I think the overall talent the Colts have right now is just so good compared to what the Colts had in 2018. Yes, we had some of our big guys still there at the time. You know, Kamoko Toure was still really, really young. We had a young Darius Leonard. We had a young Quentin Nelson. We had a young Marlon Mack. But I would much rather have a Marlon Mack with a few years in him, or Quentin Nelson, or Darius Leonard with a few years in him. Tack on a DeForest Buckner. Tack on Jonathan Taylor. Tack on Michael Pittman Jr. Tack on Rhodes. Tack on the strong safety, right? Kari Willis over Clayton Gathers any day of the week. I like this team right now more than I liked the 2018 Colts. But, again, that being said, we're going against the Titans, who, again, very good team, well coached in Week 10. Really not a big weakness on this team anywhere, except maybe the secondary. They got a good front line, except with Jarrell Casey missing, I think they could be had by this time. I think Jonathan Taylor, as long as he doesn't fumble the ball too much in the first half of the season, is going to start getting more carries at this point, which means he's going to be going right up the middle, right where Casey used to be, you know. And I think the Colts, it's going to be a ground and pound game, right? It's going to be one of those low scoring 21-17 games, I think. Maybe 21-14 or 21-13. Yeah, we'll go 21-13 because I think the Colts have more of a bend but don't break defense. I think the Colts will get 21 points. I think they'll win this game. I think they sweep their division, or at least they want to. I don't think they will. I'm actually going to give the Colts the win in Tennessee at this point. And that's going to bring them to 8-1 through Week 10. Then we move on. Oh, that's at Tennessee. We lose. Then we host Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers. The last time I think we beat the Green Bay Packers was when Reggie Wayne took it upon himself to beat the Green Bay Packers with Andrew Luck. Remember that game? Remember that? I think that was Andrew Luck's rookie year when Reggie just would not be stopped for nothing. For nothing, he would not be stopped. And yet, we still beat him. But that was all on the back of Reggie Wayne. We got a much better team now. Now, dealing with Aaron Rodgers, I think we have a better team than Green Bay. Green Bay was 13-3 last year. That's right, 13-3. I think we beat Green Bay, though, because we have a run game to keep that Aaron Rodgers off the field. Because if Aaron Rodgers is on the field too much, it's like Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson. He could put the team on his back and will his team to win. So we got to keep him off the field as much as possible. And I think we're going to run the ball very, very well against Green Bay. Okay? I think a mix, a healthy mix between all four running backs that we're going to have. Mack, Taylor. I think you're going to have Hines out there on 3rd and short. I think you're going to have Jordan Wilkins out there occasionally spelling people. You might even see Roosevelt Nix once in a while doing lead blocks on like 3rd and 1 or something, or 4th and 1 or something like that. This is something that I fully expect to happen. Hey guys, I see 5 of you watching. We got 5 of us here. I got 4 likes. I appreciate it. Please hit the like button, share this, and don't forget to subscribe, man. Please, please. Thank you. I got us beating Green Bay. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have opportunities against us just because we don't play Aaron Rodgers very often. And he has, even though Green Bay drafted his future replacement, he's still Aaron freaking Rodgers. He just doesn't have the weapons around him at wide receiver and running back anymore. So I fully expect him to really pull off some pretty special stuff once in a while. I'm sorry, I just took a shower and I think I had some soap in my nose or something that dried up. This is awful. All right. So, what do you guys think? You think we're going to beat Green Bay? I think we beat Green Bay. I think we beat Green Bay 24-17. I think we got it by a touchdown. I think it'll be one of those games where it's going to come down to the Colts ending up having the football with like 7-8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, tie ball game, and you're just going to watch the Colts, because they ran the ball all game, they're just going to eat the clock over and over and over. It'll be a 2-minute drill, but it'll be a 4-minute drill, right? Eat the clock, walk down the field, score, and win. I feel like that's the kind of game this is going to end up being here versus Green Bay in Week 11. And that means the Colts go 9-1 through 10 games. Yeah. Wow. Then we host the Tennessee Titans. I think this is going to be a revenge game for Tennessee. I think the Colts, off some very big games right in a row, right? I mean, they'll have Baltimore, then they have Tennessee, then they have Green Bay. We'll come home, and I hate to say this, but I think this is a game where Ryan Tannehill steps up. Thanks, Music City. I appreciate that. I think we beat Green Bay too. I think this is a game where Ryan Tannehill in that passing game steps up, realizing they can't just run the ball against Indy because Indy's run defense is so good with DeForest Buckner in them. I think this is a situation where Ryan Tannehill's quick passing attack, yards after catch, that kind of situation is going to catch Indy a little bit off guard because they're used to seeing Tennessee run the ball so well. I think Indy gets caught off guard a little bit, and they end up losing in Week 12 versus Tennessee. Now, you got to remember, I got to be fair here. I got to give Indianapolis some losses here and there. And Tennessee's a good team. Tennessee's a solid team. I have them going 9-7 this year. So they're a solid team. But I think overall, I think the Colts are better. But Tennessee and Mike Vrabel knows the Indianapolis Colts very, very well. They'll find a way to recuperate from the loss 2 weeks prior and come up with a different game plan rather than just trying to run Derrick Henry down our throats. Which means that'll give them their second loss on the season. Now we go to week 13 at NRG Stadium in Houston. People want to laugh at Bill O'Brien. And on the surface, it's easy to laugh at Bill O'Brien. Let go of Jadeveon Clowney. Lost DJ Reader, who's a great defensive tackle run stopper. Traded DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson and a second-round pick. But it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, right? Now they've got two running backs that can catch the football out of the backfield. Carlos Hyde wasn't very good at doing that. Now instead of just having Hopkins and Fuller and Stills, Deshaun Watson, he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins to just sit there and stare at and throw the football at on a consistent basis, right? He's going to have to get better. And this is week 13. So he's got the entire first 12 weeks to understand that he does not have Hopkins. He's got to get through his progressions quicker and find the open receiver. And I'm sorry, but I think Watson is an incredibly good quarterback. And I think he's going to learn to do that well before we play them the first time in week 13. I think that's going to catch us off guard. This is an explosive passing attack. All right. They have Cooks. They have Fuller. They have Stills. They have, what's his name? Dig on it. Cobb. And they got somebody else, and I can't remember who else they have. But either way, they got like 5 really good receivers, okay, for Deshaun Watson to throw to. Now, yeah, 1 or 2 of them might be hurt, but that still leaves like 3 or 4 really good receivers for him to have. Not to mention the running backs, Duke Johnson, David Johnson, that are excellent out of the backfield. And if there's a weak point against this team, against the Indianapolis Colts team, it is the passing attack. And we all know that Watson can get away from pressure from time to time, extend the play, and throw the football. I think we lose at NRG because we're not expecting this kind of offense. I think we lose at NRG. I know normally T.Y. Hilton owns NRG Stadium. I get that. But to be fair, he didn't own them last year. To be fair, he's been hurt lately. I hope that's not the case this season. I hope T.Y. Hilton is able to just be an Iron Man this season and not have any injuries. But the last 3 seasons, he's had injuries and he's had problems, and they usually start around this time. So I think that the Colts will be caught off guard here a little bit as well, and they're going to lose 2 games in a row. 2 games in a row. But that's all right. That's only 3 losses in 12 games. That still puts them 9-3. Then at week 14, we go to the Oakland Raiders. Didn't the Raiders beat us last year? Didn't we have a problem with Derek Carr? Didn't Derek Carr chew the heck out of our secondary up, our zone defense, just throwing the ball to wide open guys in holes in our defense the whole game? I'm sorry, yeah, it is Las Vegas. Not used to the change. Music City, Jamie Miller, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. There's a lot of teams that have changed cities in the last couple years, and sometimes I get caught calling them by their old name. But I appreciate you checking on me here. But Carr, that doesn't change the fact Carr ate us up because of our zone defense. That's exactly what he did. Everybody wants to say that Derek Carr is not very good. The fact of the matter is, you give him time, he's going to find open spots in your defense, period. But this isn't the same defense that he faced last season. Right? Hopefully, still at week 14, hopefully we'll still have Kamiko Toure out there to go along with DeForest Buckner, to go along with Justin Houston, to go along with Bobby Okereke, Anthony Walker, Darius Leonard, to go along with a secondary that is actually, I believe, better against man press than what they are versus zone. I think this is a game that Matt Eberflus uses a lot of blitzing on Derek Carr, getting pressure in his face, and man press so that he can't just dump the football off really quick. The one thing that we'll have to worry about is Josh Jacobs, because he's a real deal running back. If you watched him last year, he can run the football very, very well. But I got Indy actually winning this game by more than 10 points. I think this is a game, their defense is not good enough. It's just not good enough. Hi, Beverly. That's my sister right there in the chat, Beverly Ricks. I want to say hello. Thanks for joining me. So, I got the Colts scoring probably at least 35 on this Oakland defense, and I don't think, Las Vegas, on this Las Vegas defense. But I don't see Carr and this wide receiver group. Yeah, they have a couple decent players, but they're not great, and they still need help on that offensive line. I see them scoring maybe 17, possibly 21. So, let's say 21-35 Colts. That's a 2-touchdown win. I think that's a fair run right there. I think Indy gets their revenge game against them from last year. And then they move on. At this point, they're 10-3 after week 14. Then they host Deshaun Watson again. 2 weeks prior, they go into NRG and lose. This time, they come into Lucas Oil Stadium. And this time, I think the Indianapolis Colts are ready for them. They realize they've got a lot of firepower in the air. But their offensive line is not where it needs to be. Yes, they got a couple decent offensive linemen now, but they still have some bad players on that offensive line. I think this is a game where we have a 5-man pressure front almost every snap going up against Deshaun Watson. I think this is a game where we force Watson to throw the ball quickly every time because it worked so well against Carr the week before. Yes, the Colts can run the ball, and they'll run the ball very well against Houston. I think at this point, I'm not expecting J.J. Watt to be playing. We all know that the last 5 years, Watt misses like half the season, if not the entire season, due to injury. At this point, he's probably not even playing. I'm not going to count him completely out. He could be playing, but at the same time, we got one of the best run blocking schemes in the NFL. We've got great players, and I think that we don't have we don't have a problem winning this game. I think Eberflus comes in with a different scheme and just beats Watson up. I think Indianapolis will win this game. I don't think it'll be a monster win in Indy. I think it's a game that could end up being, I don't know, somewhere around 21-17, something like that. I don't think it's going to be a blowout win. But I think it's a game that Indianapolis is going to have control of probably darn near the entire game. And even though the score will be close at the end, I don't think it'll be close until the end. It's one of those games where I think the Colts will get their 21 points. They'll hold Houston to 17. Or they'll hold them to 14. all the way up until the last drive, and then they'll bend but don't break the 2-minute drive by Watson. Knowing that they could give up the field goal, just not the touchdown. They end up giving up a field goal with a couple minutes left. They try an onside kick or some crap like that. The Colts get the ball and just basically run out the clock. That's how I see this game ending up. You see it all the time. No one predicts it, but it's one of the most popular endings in football. And I think that's basically how this game ends up being. Then we go to Heinz Field. Heinz Field. The Indianapolis Colts are cursed against the Pittsburgh Steelers. All the way back to when Harbaugh was the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Remember that playoff game? Remember that playoff game where we were just one reception away from going to the Super Bowl against Pittsburgh? How many times has Peyton Manning been beat by Pittsburgh? How many times has Andrew Luck been beat by Pittsburgh? The Colts have had issues against Pittsburgh always. Always. Not today. Not week 16. Not December 27th. They turn this around. They turn it around. This is a high-flying defense that Pittsburgh has. We seen it last year. They are opportunistic. They will get interceptions off of you. But you know what? The Colts didn't throw an interception until Brian Hoyer got in that game. Right? That wasn't Jacoby Brissett throwing the interceptions. That wasn't Phillip Rivers throwing the interceptions. You might say, well, Phillip Rivers still threw 23 interceptions last year. Yeah, but every year after he throws 18 or more, he ends up being a Pro Bowler and he drops those interceptions massively. I see him being more protective in this game than any because our team, the coaches, know Pittsburgh is a very opportunistic defense. They are aggressive defense. They will send the house at times to get you to throw the football quicker and make mistakes, which is why I see this game being something of more of a yo-yo game where, you know, the Colts are going to show one thing and then go a completely different direction over and over and over and over. They're going to get the Pittsburgh defense to bite on something and then do something else that they don't expect. All right. I think Nick Sirianni is one of those coaches that can pull that off. Same with Frank Reich. When you have an aggressive, opportunistic defense like Pittsburgh, you get them going one direction and then go a different direction yourself. That's how you break open big plays against teams like this. How do you do that, you say? Let's go to running back formations, shall we? Let's run some I formation, offset I formation, some pro T formations, where you run the running back option, where you either hand the ball off to Taylor up the gut, and if Pittsburgh sells on going inside, he pulls that ball back and flips it out to Marlon Mack on stretch play. And all the defense is inside. There's no one outside to stop Mack from running big runs. And if they don't come in like that, let Taylor have the football. Let them have the football and run it down their throats. Beat this defense up. They are fast. They got a lot of energy. But if you punch them in the mouth for an entire first half, you'll take that energy right out of them. And I think this is a Colts team that can do that, absolutely. Do not throw a football unless you know that person is well open, especially past 20 yards or more. Harrison Hype says, we're going to have to utilize our tight ends more to keep Steelers defense guessing. Burton's faster than people think he has. He's got great hands. Well, I mean, when he was with Philadelphia, He was let go because he wasn't Zach Ertz, right? He's not Zach Ertz, but he's a similar style as Zach Ertz, which is why he was there. He was hurt with Chicago, which is why Chicago let him go. He didn't play up to what they hoped that he would play to because he was hurt that whole season. I fully expect, I agree, I think we're going to have, could you imagine having two running back formation, pro formation, okay? You got Rivers under center, Taylor, Mack at the running back. Burton or Ollie Cox, either one, because Ollie Cox can catch as well, and he's a heck of a blocker. And then Doyle on the other side. First off, that's a running game's dream. Put Michael Pittman or Zach Pascal out there on the outside who can also, both these guys can run routes. Both these guys can pass block. Now you got a running formation that's just nasty, especially against a team like this. And then if the defense sells out against the run, even if it's against Marlon Mack and them, you got 9 guys in the box. That's when Rivers could tuck that ball down, like you say, Harrison Hype, and throw right over the top of that front 9 because, they brought so much pressure up front. Throw right over the top of them to Doyle or Burton, as you said, or even the receiver that's sitting out there, whether it be Pascal or Pittman. Absolutely. This is a game, like I say, you show them big, strong run formations the whole stinking game. And you make them sell out to stop something, and then you hit them with something completely different. That's how you beat Pittsburgh's defense. And no matter what, don't give them an opportunity to get a turnover because they will capitalize on that every stinking day. Colts fans know we've seen it a million times against that team, especially last year. That interception right there by the end zone by Minkah Fitzpatrick took the air out of every Colts fan there was when Brian Hoyer threw that football, and we were like, what did you just do? Right? Jamie Miller, yes, exactly. That's why I say he's going to be able to make those. He says this is a game where Rivers and his 16 years experience pays off. Has the ability to make pre-snap reads in games like this is going to be huge. Absolutely. Like I said, he's going to be able to read that defense. And as he's handing a football off or pulling it off, he's going to be looking over at the defense. If they sell to stop that run, that's when he tucks that ball in and just throws it right over the top of them. Right? He did that to us a ton in week 1 last year when we played the Chargers. That's the whole reason why it ended up going into overtime. Because he kept pitching the ball out to the running back. Because our defense would come in on him. And he'd tuck it and just dump it off real quick to the running back who got past that line of scrimmage. He's going to do the same to this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Uh-oh, that makes us 12-3 at week 16. Remember when I said we're going 12-4 because that's what I say we're going to do. We're going to be 12-4. I'm going to have every Colt fan on here and anyone that watches this afterwards yell at me because we're going to lose to Jacksonville week 17 at home. Because we're 12-3. And the reason we lose this game, I'm sorry. And I'll tell you why we lose this game. It's because the whole situation of we haven't had a bye week since week 6. We already won the division at 12-3. We've already won the division. But we're not going to end up winning first seed. And you have to have first seed to get a bye week in the playoffs. We've ran 10 straight weeks without a week off. Versus Jacksonville, Indianapolis is going to basically bench the entire starters week 17. knowing we're going to the playoffs, but we're not getting a first week bye, need the time off, because 10 weeks without any time off, Rivers is going to need a break from his arm. Taylor and Mack, who have busted their butts all year, going to need a little time to get refreshed. The defense, same thing. We're going to lose the game because we ain't actually playing the game. Okay? That's why we lose week 17, end up 12-4. We still end up third seed, but the best we could have been at this point, even if we'd have won this game, would have been second seed, and second seed still does not get a bye week because of the new change in the NFL. That's why they take a week off. That's why we lose to Jacksonville. But that's okay, because we're still in the playoffs. We're the third seed. We'll end up being matched up against the sixth seed. It'll be a good situation. It'll be a good situation. I'll take a loss in week 17 against Jacksonville in order to have a healthy team going into the playoffs. I do agree, Jamie Miller, who says maybe half a game for the starters, but not a fan of sitting for the entire last game. Rhythm is important in protecting your starters. I get that. I understand that. And as Colts fans, we all know what happened when the Indianapolis Colts were looking for a perfect season, sat out week 17 and lost, right? And then lost in the playoffs, right? We all remember that. But this is a different type of situation. I get that rhythm is important. But at this point in time, I got a feeling the Colts are going to have a lot of nicks and bruises. Maybe they do sit for only half the game. But because of sitting half the game, I think Jacksonville, they still have weapons on offense, right? Minshew has got the ability to make some things happen occasionally. Leonard Fournette is a good running back. At least last year he was. He was healthy the entire year and was able to run really well. DJ Chark is an exceptional wide receiver. They have the ability to score. Now, whether or not Yannick Ngakoue plays, because he's already said he's not playing for Jacksonville anymore, he wants traded, I don't care. They still have Josh Allen. Jared Allen don't play for Jacksonville. He's a little older, too. But they still got Josh Allen out there on the end, who's an incredible pass rusher. They still got Myles Garrett at linebacker. They don't have the secondary, but they drafted secondary, right? That's where they went heavy defense in the draft. So I really don't know how they're going to look. I think that they're still going to be able, their starters are going to be better than our second, third, fourth stringers, which is what will be playing in this game. For the majority of the game, at least, as you say. And we end up losing. But because we have so many, like I said, man, we get our bye week in week 6. Week 6. That's an awful time to have a bye week. You need these teams, unless they get first seed, which they're not getting first seed. Okay? I love Indy, but I don't think they're going to end up with the first seed. If they end up with second or third seed, then they're going to take the rest of the week off. They're going to take that last week off. Hey, I got some people over on Sportscaster watching as well. Messy Best, Cowgirl K, and Ravens Fan 19. Thanks for joining the stream on Sportscaster. Don't forget, if you like what you're watching on Sportscaster, hit that favorite button down there and give me a follow. That way you're notified next time I go live. Same with everybody here on YouTube. Guys, I got 9 people watching live over here on YouTube. I got 6 likes, man. If you enjoy what I'm talking about, if you think that I actually have some information that is good for you, hit the like button. Hit that share right beside it, please. Hit that share. Share it to your social media, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatnot. You know, guys, girls like you, y'all help me out with my content because I only have so many people following me. And the best way of spreading information is word of mouth and sharing with your friends. So I bow to you, please. It's up to you on how much exposure I get. So thanks a lot. Don't forget to check out the description at the bottom, different places you can follow me. And if you want to donate to my channel to help me keep bringing content like this to you every week, every Saturday. I got a couple guys that have agreed to join me on my stream, on my live streams. I believe someone out of the Colts complex, who a lot of people know, is going to be joining me here pretty soon as well. So that's going to be a fun one. But I've got him going 12-4 in 2020. If you guys like it, I appreciate the letting me know. Don't forget, hit the comments down there. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. That way you're notified every time I go live. I go live every Saturday, 5 p.m. Every once in a while, I'll hit up some other places. Different times. Depending if I got a guest that can join but can't join on Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. Alonzo Baylor, what's up, Lawrence, brother? How are you doing health-wise? First time catching you live talking about my Colts. Oh, man, they're my Colts. Hey, I'm doing well. How are you doing? I'm glad that you actually got to sit here and watch this. If you didn't get to watch it from the beginning, when I end this, it's been 40 minutes. I've already talked about the entire second half of the season. I got the Colts going 12-4. Shocker, I have them losing week 17 at home against Jacksonville, but I have a darn good reason why. So check that out. Like I said, man, share this. It'll help my exposure out a lot. I appreciate everyone that was here in the chat. Thank you so much, both on Sportscaster and on YouTube. And until next time, as usual. Oh, by the way, go follow me. If you're here on YouTube, go check me out on Sportscaster. All right? The link is down here in the description. Sportscaster / Lawrence Owen. I am the official NFL broadcaster for Sportscaster. I do the NFL news. Myself, Joe Nubo, Ray Rout, we cover the NFL news for Sportscaster. So go check that out. Give me a follow there as well. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law, covering the second half of the NFL season for the Indianapolis Colts. And until next time, have a good one. Yeah.